Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy Josh Hop,
It's your boy Tay.
and this is another episode of Sports Talk Tan Josh. And on this episode, we're going to discuss House of Dragon episode 8. And before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, leave your comments, theories, and all that stuff. Follow us on social media too. And just to give you a slight warning, we will discuss spoilers. So if you didn't watch it, make sure you pause it here. You know what I mean? Make sure you subscribe too on your way out and go watch it. Come back right back. Okay. All right. So, Tay, I'll let you go first. What is your first reaction? Episode 8.
Oh well, let the battle begin. Pretty much. Uh, the battle lines is drawn. The the sides have been picked, and now it's ready to rumble because we knew this day will come. Eventually, that the king was going to pretty much fade out. He's now in this episode. Now he's actually on his last leg, quote unquote. Yeah, pretty much on his last leg. He's making his last wishes. As far as like seeing his family all together, they want to squash that whole thing between Allison and Rhaenyra. Try to make everybody be a family, but eventually people still want to bring up the fact that their kids are. I don't know if we can say it on YouTube, but they're pretty much the B word.
Illeg- Illegitimate. You can just say
Yeah,
illegitimate children. That's all you got to say.
legitimate. Yeah, legitimate
Illegitimate.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
children from another man, pretty much. That's not her husband. You know,
Yeah.
by law, pretty much.
Okay.
Um, so by that happening, like I said, it still brings up the wounds of from Allison's side of the crew, which that's the Greens, that they will feel as though that none of her kids should be a rightful heir to any other thrones of the family from the Targaryen or the um what's the other family? Um
Valerian?
Veneryan. Yeah, the Veneryan family.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because even though they are still technically they're not related. So let's get that out of the way. They're not related. The only way they're related is from the cousin. Which that's Renice. So she is the king's cousin. So they the only blood relatives through the whole Veneryan family. So
Hmm.
but everybody else, no relation. So technically, the Targaryen kids from Rhaenyra could marry the Veneryan daughters. So, um, even though I think, even though I think technically in marriage she did marry a Veneryan kid, but that's not her. You know what I'm trying to say? They got the last name, but they're not really Veneryan blood per se. Um, but everybody's up in the frenzy on that about how they're gonna they're trying to like stop them from taking it. Even Otto Hightower. He thought he was gonna be the king. He really thought he's gonna be, he's gonna sit in that throne for a little bit. So that whole thing backfired. So now we're gonna see how the Greens are gonna try to push this narrative that
Hmm.
none of the blacks, Damon, Rhaenyra, the kids, like, you know, try to see how they're gonna push that to push their agenda a little bit more to see that they're rightful for the or whoever they want as the heir or to the throne, that would be the right choice. But every character, I mean, every show need a bad guy, and right now it's Allison. So you know, until they switch to Veneer, at some point it probably will. She's going to be the villain for this transgression going on in this conflict that's going on between them. Pretty much, now she's pretty much the thorn in the side of the family business that she has no part of. Pretty much.
Hmm. Okay. Well, my reaction probably to this episode is a lot of drama, and
Yeah.
we got someone. I'm not going to discuss a huge spoiler. Someone died. We're just going to say that
Yeah.
during pretty much doing a little trial and error. They
Hmm.
petition. They pretty much did a petition on why, what's the face. That's all it was. It was like, politics petition. And what happened was someone got a little bit emotional, said something they shouldn't have said, and cost them their life. We're just gonna speak in vague. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
who passed away, but yeah,
Well, not only that, the fact that they are still going with it and making that's the sole reason why she shouldn't be heir, it's kind of like, okay, like is that your only
no,
case right now?
there was no DNA test back in then.
That's what I'm saying. But you get what I'm
Because if
saying
the
though. Like,
kids are no, but if the kids are illegitimate, that means Aegon will have to be front runner. Technically,
yeah,
Aegon should be the front runner because
because
he's the oldest
he's the
male.
son. Yeah, he's the
He's the
son.
oldest male
Yeah,
of the. So
of the
technically, it
king.
was yeah the king. So
Aegon. Yeah,
that
Aegon the
he
second.
Aegon, but he don't even
Yeah,
want to be it. He don't even want to be it.
yeah.
Be the
That's what I'm
king.
saying. He's too busy trying to be, you
A
know,
horn dog.
a horn dog. Yeah,
We're
pretty
gonna
much. Like,
we're gonna say a horn dog for lack of better words. We're gonna say the
yeah.
word horn dog.
He's too
Yeah.
busy. He's too busy trying to be like trying to have
He-
a king lifestyle, but don't want to be king. Like that's what
yeah,
he's trying
man.
to do.
He just wanna live his best life, man.
Yeah.
Without the
Now
crown, man. That's all he wanna do.
the one that's trying to do it is Aemon. Now he is trying to be like try to take the king
He's
mount.
a yeah, yeah. He's a great swordsman. So
Yeah,
skills. So and with one eye, which is pretty impressive for that time. So
yeah. But nobody want to talk about how he lost that idol. But
hey, man, don't bring up memories, man. He's
nobody want to talk about how
he
he lost that eye.
your man keeps saying to this day, like he remember that he ain't forget.
So I mean, yeah, man. But yeah, Amen. It look like he want to take. It look like truthfully, it look like he want to take it away from Aegon too. But that's just my opinion. But
Aegon don't even want it. Aegon don't
yeah.
even want it. So yeah.
So it's like um, even though they're trying to, like I said, they trying to push everything on it, this and third. But the thing is, at the end of it, before his pretty much his like his last like I said on his last leg, he still want Rhaenyra to be the heir. So
Yeah.
technically, when it's all said and done,
Hmm.
she might be like I'll probably say going to season 2, she might be the like the Iron Queen of this
Yeah.
until a conflict between her and Aegon happens, and then that's when it's probably going to be the Dance of Dragons or the Battle. I call it Battle of Dragons, but it's the Dance of Dragons
Hmm.
that will be
That's
causing
probably going to is it
yeah
probably what I'm thinking is going to happen prior to well crap. Did you want to get into the because this episode was pretty straightforward. He spent
yeah
his
we can get
last
into it yeah
days,
let's get into it
but it was the I'll probably say the most touching scene was when he came in the room and he was walking and he
yeah
fell and dropped his crown and Damon came gave him his
yeah
last little grief because he saw his brother pretty much on his last leg and he took that
hmm
mask off. He had an eye missing. It was just
he was pretty
he
much
really just
rotting
wanted to
away
yeah he really just wanted to spend his last day with his family. That's really
yeah
what he wanted to do. Yeah, so.
yeah
Even
I
though
mean
they
it is
didn't,
what
they was faking it. They even though they was faking it.
yeah I mean, the only thing I think that was truly genuine out of that whole situation was Allison and Rhaenyra's apology to each other. I think that was the most genuine thing out of that whole situation because they were
It
friends
was,
before this happened. Like,
yeah, they was friends, but it's now that they frenemies.
yeah,
Like they not real friends. They was friends back then, but
yeah.
she
Now
did
it's
like
yeah,
she did like become her stepmom. So I know that's a little tension.
yeah. Even though I don't think Rhaenyra's ever gonna know that Otto was the one that set that whole thing up to
Of
make
course
her
he set
be
it.
likable.
Of course he
You know
set
what I'm
that
saying?
up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think
Of
she
course
want to
they set
know,
it up.
but
Yeah. He just used her to drop a little influence on her
exactly.
on his
Yeah.
decision. That's all.
Yeah. So now it's like, but like I said, Otto thought he was going to be in that Iron Throne for a little bit. He thought he could make the judgment call. Nah, the
Hmm.
king was like, nah, even on my last leg, I'm gonna stand for my daughter. I
Hmm.
can kiss, I can kiss my head. I'm gonna be here for my daughter. And sure enough,
Hmm.
they agreed to the proposal that she had for Renice and Rhaenyra, agreeing on the two families staying combined with the Rhaenyra with the Targaryens and the Rhaenyra um family line, bloodline, pretty much. Um,
Mhm.
which I kind of figured that was gonna happen because after Rhaenyra and Rhaenys had that meeting and at the tree, you already knew it was game over. You already knew who she was gonna make her
Mhm.
mind up with after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like you said, then we had this one character. He's always been known to tell the truth, no matter what the situation is. But even though if it might cost him his life, he's still going to do it. It did. He did it, and it still
Mhm.
cost him his life at the end, or
Mhm.
half a head. But but
Yeah.
um, but now the question is going to be this though: do you think Aegon and Aemon are purposely trying to get when their kids angry so they could catch them in the act of like treason or whatever the case may be, so they can
That's
actually.
so the next move we gotta consider. I think I know was I got an idea what's gonna happen next episode. Did you want to talk about it?
We can, don't matter. Yeah, we can.
So I think the king is gonna well, the king already passed away, but I think they're gonna keep it a secret till they find the next move. The green team is gonna find
Yeah,
because you gotta remember Raina left, her and Damon left. You gotta remember
and
that. So
they
they
on
they don't
Dragonstone.
know the king is
Yeah,
dead yet. They don't know.
yeah,
So I think they trying to, pick their sides and then after that it's gonna lead to war. That's pretty much just gonna lead into the
yeah.
civil war.
And let's not forget that the king did. He was delusional at the time. He did let some stuff slip out to
I think he
Alicent,
was saying I
Rhaenyra.
think he was saying the wrong Aegon though. I think he
Yeah,
said it wrong.
he was actually talking about his grandson. Yeah, he was talking about Aegon the
Yeah,
third, like the
yeah,
actual.
third. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he was talking about the. That's what it sounded like. He was just, on his last. Yeah.
yeah. So now that's gonna be a
So
whole nother confusion thing because now she's gonna think it's her
yeah,
Aegon, but she really talking about. But they really talking
can't
about.
believe this civil war. This civil war about to start over a misunderstanding. Like,
Yep,
like, man, they ain't had wheels back then.
bruh. Not only that, this is
That's
about
what
this
I'm
is
saying.
going.
He didn't write it down or something. They had no
No,
record or something back in those days.
no, there was no like no
So it was
no
word of
like
mouth.
no attorneys or nothing like that. It was councils back then. So now
My
that
my
somebody
man did
physically
my
there,
man didn't write a will. My man didn't write a will out there. Well,
nah,
I think this is gonna be beginning. I think it's gonna be beginning like a lot. Well, next episode, I think a few people may die.
yeah.
Like people who picking sides. If you don't pick a side,
I really hope it's Sir Cole, but I know he's important to the story, so I don't
nah,
think it's
Circle
gonna be.
probably won't die till next season if he was
Yeah,
gonna die.
yeah.
He
It'll
probably
probably
gonna
be
die till
battle.
season two.
Yeah, end the battle.
Yeah, yeah, in the battle, he probably die in battle.
Yeah,
But yeah,
because George. Yeah, because George
you
R.
never
R.
know. They
Martin.
might. You know how those Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, and no one's safe. Anybody can
Yeah,
technically die. Like yeah.
yeah, and then George R. R. Michael was talking about he just want 4 seasons. That's all he needs. 4 seasons to complete the whole book. So
Four
you know,
seasons? Yeah. We predicted they couldn't do no more than
yeah,
3 to 4 seasons.
yeah.
We already said that.
So if this won't be 4 seasons, then like I said, maybe next season might be the Rhaenyra gonna be the bad guy, and she's gonna be the one that's gonna be the torturer or something like that.
Hmm.
Then they're just gonna go into the battle type of thing. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, probably. If it play out like the book, it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna get crazy. But the only thing is, Amen better watch himself. You keep on thinking that you could test your uncle. Keep on.
You saw that face off.
Yeah, he like,
Damon's like that was that. Damon's like that was me when I was younger. Like that.
yeah.
He looked like it. Yeah.
But the funny thing is, it's like the first thing I think about was when the dude, I'm like, man, nah, you don't want them problems right now. Not the family dinner. Nah, you don't want them problems.
Yeah,
He
man.
killed. I was like, he killed less people for less than he gonna kill his own family. Like
Hmm.
he, I was like, he did that less for people that he don't care about. What you think he's gonna do with people he do care about? Like what
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Especially you going
Hmm.
at you pretty much going at the kid. Yeah, bro, nah. I mean, they could try. Like I said, Eamon's gonna try. He's gonna try because
Yeah.
he think because he's on the Sir Code that he think he could just roll with everybody. Nah, bro. Eamon
You think
older
this
and
Civil War probably could have been avoided if the king just announced who was the heir way before he died? Like, yeah, this is
well,
gonna
the
be the
thing was,
heir.
he did announce the council had a problem with who his heir was going to be. That was the problem. He already
Now,
knew.
because you already know, back in those days of
Yeah,
woke.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I'm saying,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he,
He
yeah,
had,
but
he
he
had, he
already,
had to he had to pick a male heir. That's what.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to
But
say.
at the time when he named her, she was the
Man, he
rightful
got all
heir.
those kids and grandkids. He couldn't pick one of
Now he said Rhaenyra. He said, man, nah, my daughter gonna be the heir. He said it straight. We heard him say it. He said it since episode 2. Rhaenyra is the heir. He even
them. Yeah.
gave her the speech on the dagger, all of that. He was making her the
Man,
heir.
next time, yeah. Because I knew a lot of people weren't gonna be happy with the decision that he
Yeah.
made. So
Sometimes in life in general, sometimes I understand that's back in the like, the medieval time. Sometimes you gotta be like, I'm the king. I'll make the decision, and
Tay,
she's
I
gonna
hate to
be
say
my
this.
heir.
Let's just say there was no feminism back then. We just gonna say that.
I know that.
We just gonna say that.
I completely get that, but I'm saying
This
he was
this
the
this
king.
is centuries before the strong independent woman. I must be. I'm joking.
Yeah. No. Damn. I mean, I'm about to say damn the independent woman thing. This is the
It's a
king.
joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but it's this the king.
But
He was
in
the
general,
king.
people don't approve of unless you have a male heir. That's why
Yeah.
they always.
But he's the king. So his word is the last word of anybody. I don't care what your arguments are. My word is the last.
Yeah. Until he dies, then it's gonna lead to a civil war. But you know how things get.
But like you said, if he would have said this prior, which he has did prior, but people had
Mhm.
had a hissy fit about it because uh if I'm not mistaken, Renice was supposed to been the next one up because she was the older cousin,
That's the queen that never. That's the queen that never
the
did.
queen
So
that
she
never
could.
got the throne because she was supposed to get the throne. But like you said,
Right.
because of the logic back then, they didn't want to. They
Male
voted.
heir. It's always
Yeah,
got to be a male heir.
yeah. So they
Always got to
voted.
be a male heir.
Yeah, so they voted the king that took over then. But
Yeah.
Renice was supposed to take
Any
over.
trying to think of any other predictions you can think of that might happen?
Allison's still gonna be gone. Allison's still gonna be done. I'm sorry. She's done.
I don't think she going. I don't think she going to
She's done
die.
in these streets. She's done in these streets. Yeah, she's
I don't
done.
think she going to
It
die.
might
I
not
think
be.
they're going to say that for season. I think they're going to say that for season 2 or 3.
No.
I don't think she's going to die yet.
No, not season 1. I'm just saying in general. She's done.
Hmm.
She's a mark woman. She letting too much slip through her fingers. She's a mark woman. She's a mark woman right now.
Hmm.
So Allison's done.
I wonder what's going to be the first move to stop the Civil War outside. I'm talking about like the first death or first
It's gonna be
action
done
move.
with a. It's probably gonna be done with a dragon. I'm guarantee you, it's probably gonna have to deal with with the what's the Venerian dragon, the big one.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think it's gonna have something to do with that. That's gonna cause that shit. It's gonna cause it.
Okay. Okay.
It's gonna be one of the two. It's either gonna be the big dragon, or it's gonna deal with something where they're gonna all be at somewhere. They all gonna be somewhere. Somebody gonna say something slick, and then that's what's gonna start it again. Because you see now, even Aemon and Aegon are starting to get reckless with the mouth now. This is towards their own family. So you know what I'm saying. And mind you, they're older. They're not. They're
Yeah.
not. They're not younger than. They're not Rhaenyra kids. Rhaenyra kids not even 15, 16 years old at this point.
Mhm.
Aemon and Aegon are 20, 21 years old right at this point.
They that old? I thought they wasn't.
No, they're not teenagers. They're like in their 20s or like at 20.
You sure? You should. I thought it was like 18 or something like that. Because the
Aegon is
king is.
20.
If you didn't
Aegon is
know, the
20,
king was like the king is like 52.
52. But
He
Aegon is
like
like 20.
52.
Yeah, Aegon's the oldest, so he's 20. He has to be.
I'm trying to do the math because that means Allison must have. Well,
Allison
Allison
was
must be well.
she was young. She was like
She's in
17.
her 30s. She's in her 30s now. It's been
Yeah,
20 years.
yeah. She in her 30s.
Oh, you sure? I gotta look at that. That's a huge jump. I know they
Cause
did
they
a lot of time jumps. Jeez, but
yeah
yeah,
because yeah because at the time when she was married she was 21. No. By the time she was married she was
she was
17. She was
she
17
was
when she
like
got married.
17. She was young. She was young when she got married.
And it's
When
mind
they
you,
got married, she was like 17.
yeah. Now mind you, it's a time jump. So you got 3 kids prior. So right there, we talking about 10 years later. She's 27,
All right.
and now we're talking about
I
another time jump. Now we're talking about another time jump, and it's like 3 years later. She's 30. She's 30 years old.
okay. All right.
Rhaenyra's 30, and the kids have to be no more than like the oldest, Aegon, it has to be like 20, 21 at this point. Aegon's 18, 19.
But that was an old person back in those days. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? That's like me, like
and
20s.
and the youngest, the daughter, she's like 15. She's like Rhaenyra age at the point where we first see her. She's like 15, 16, 14, 15. My
Yeah.
bad.
Okay. All right. So what will you give a rating of this episode?
So I'm giving it a 9.
Nine. Okay. Okay. What will I give? Not gonna give it quite. I will go slightly. I want to say 8.8. You probably about right. It's probably close to a 9. I'm not gonna give it an exact 9, but it was a good episode. I think next episode is gonna be the first
Yeah,
bloodshed, probably leading to the. That's why I'm trying
yeah,
to
we
think of
got
who you think. Someone's going to. I think someone's going to die, like someone who's like on the fence,
yeah.
like until you choose sides. That's what I think is going to happen. A few people
Yeah,
going
so
to die.
we got 2 episodes left, and this is
Mhm.
probably when the BS is going to start. So
Yeah.
this is
I actually liking this show. I actually like this. It's sort of different, similar to Game of Thrones, but it's a different vibe. You get what I'm trying to say,
yeah, they are staying in the
compared
same
to the
family.
original.
Other than it's literally like Game of Thrones, but they staying with one family. Like normally,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
go to different houses or something like that. This is literally staying within one house, but this was the biggest battle of a house. Like I don't
yeah,
the
within the house.
yeah, because the Lannisters haven't done it, the Starks hasn't done it, none of the other families, the Crosses, none of them have done it. Like this is literally the biggest battle within a family, like in the history of Game of Thrones, or in the Game of Thrones franchise. It's the biggest battle.
Yeah. All right, all right. I think we're gonna end it here.
Yep.
We had a good discussion. I wasn't trying to go over the race, and I'm trying not to speak in too much in detail to spoil it. Speaking
Yeah.
extremely vague. So I would like everybody post your theories, predictions, anything. If you agree or disagree, we like both. Because if we got something wrong, you're more than welcome to correct us. So hit
Yep.
the like button, subscribe, follow us on social media. Uh, Peace.
Do all that, YouTube cringe stuff. Go ahead, follow, leave a comment. Hit all our socials, which is linked down below, and all that jazz. So yeah, people love everybody.